this a few times before, hadn't we, Mark?
Yes, we have.
It has been a while, though. Good morning.
Never like this, though.
Pardon me?
Never like this, though.
No, everything's different nowadays, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. Today we have Mark Miller from Sawyer Brown. Oh my goodness, it has been a long time since we've talked, and I am so looking forward to seeing you on the cruise. You know, everybody was geared up for January. We had to push back till November, but that'll, you know, November next year will be here before we know it. But and I've got so many things I want to talk to you about today. First off, what have you been doing during the pandemic? I see on the website that y'all have some dates coming up. Are they still on? Are they still set?
We've done 3 dates, and we have probably 2 or 3 in September that are still hanging in there, a couple in October, but the rest of the stuff got pushed to next year. So it's kind of the same thing that happened with the cruise.
Yeah, that's true. Well, how have you been spending your, you know, all the musicians I've talked to are like, I've never been home this much in my life. So
well, we have never gone in the 38 years we've been together. We've never gone this long without doing a show. So you know, we've been doing some. Hobie and I have been doing some Facebook Live stuff. We actually went in the studio and did a kind of a live recording that we released, like 8 songs. But you know, I've been in the studio with Hannah Kerr, you know, one of the Christian artists I produce, as well as Casting Crowns. You know, we're starting a new album, so all that is you know, kept me pretty busy.
Oh yeah, you have a lot of different. Always have a lot of different irons in the fire. When you mentioned the 8 new songs with Sawyer Brown, is this new stuff? Did you go in and record hits? Or are you writing new music?
It was all hits. We just wanted, you know, because we were having to cancel so many live shows, it was just for a way to stay in touch with the fan base. And you know, we did some dialogue, some talking, and we did some Q&A stuff. So it was just a little different twist, but just to stay in touch with the fans.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Well, you know, some people I've talked to said they're learning Spanish or they're cleaning out their garage, or like, apart from the music projects, anything fun or unusual that you're doing? You want to share?
Well, I took 3 years of Spanish in high school. It didn't really take. So I'm definitely not trying to learn a new language. If I could just get the English language down, I would be fine. Well, you know, the big news, I'm in Texas right now. My daughter had her second grandchild a week ago Monday.
Oh, congratulations.
So,
a little boy or little girl?
It's a boy. So she has 2 boys. Jack is 19 months old, and Eli is the newborn, and he is 2 weeks old.
That's wonderful. Congratulations.
Yeah. So we spent yesterday at the Dallas Aquarium.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah.
Do you like being? It's funny, Mark, because I've known you since early. I mean, it's hard for. I still see the guy jumping, you know, sky high on stage. I can't think of you as a grandpa. That's kind of a shift in mindset for me.
Well, you know what? Grandpa can still jump sky high on stage. So that's all you need. That's all you need to think about right there.
That's great. And you know, speaking of jumping sky high, I don't know how many. I know all the diehard fans know this, but I'm not sure if it's common knowledge what a great basketball player you are. Talk a little bit about that. You were like almost pro, weren't you?
Well, I did sign a professional contract. I played in the CBA with the Fort Wayne Fury for a couple of seasons, actually while we were touring. And, you know, I played basketball at the University of Central Florida, and it's still my passion today. I mean, I still have a group of guys that you know, were either played in the NBA or played in college, and we all have a game that we haven't got to play because of COVID, but we have a game that we play in every week still. So I still, it's still my favorite hobby and my passion.
That is cool. That is cool. I played in high school. To look at me now, you never know that, but I used to love it. But I tell you, I can still shoot Like if I can get a clear shot, and my husband's 6'4", so if I can get around him, I can sink it, but I'm slow as molasses. I mean, it's like my skills have rapidly diminished.
Well, I can still shoot it pretty good. I still get up and down court pretty good, but maybe not. That's why we don't run with the young guys anymore. We just run with the guys our age.
I know. I was talking to Trace Adkins recently, and he said he's had knee surgery. He gave up basketball, you know. But,
Yeah.
Well, something else I was wanting to talk to you about. You mentioned Casting Crowns and Hannah Kerr. You know, apart from the wonderful career with Sawyer Brown and all the hits and the continued touring, you are a major player in the Christian music industry. I mean, you are one of the guys that discovered Casting Crowns and started Beach Street Records, which Beach Street, you know, is still the home of Casting Crowns in conjunction with Provident Music Group. But like you know, you co-own a Christian record label. You produce Casting Crowns and Hannah Kerr, all these successful artists. Tell our our viewers a little bit about what was your entree into the Christian music business, and why did you go down this road?
Well, my dear friend Terry Hemmings, when he became the CEO of Provident, he came to me and just said, "Hey, I would love to give you your own label," and I actually tried to talk him out of it, because I just didn't think that I knew enough about the Christian music business to have my own label. And he assured me that I did. And it was just, a total God thing. A guy gave me a CD of Casting Crowns, of their demos. And it had If We Are the Body on it, which was their first, big record. Can you hear that jet going by?
Yep.
I'm right next to Lockheed Air Force Base, in Texas. So, wow, those are F-14s, by the way.
Wow.
So anyway, Terry just really encouraged me and gave me the opportunity. And when I met Mark after hearing their demo, the only reason that I really wanted to do it was just to be able to come alongside Christian artists, and come alongside of them with their ministry. And Mark, the only question Mark Hall asked me after I offered him the record deal was, am I still going to be able to be a youth pastor? Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what I wanted to be involved in. Mark, to this day, I don't know, I think we've been doing this 15, 16 years with Casting Crowns, still to this day is a full-time youth pastor. And so, that is probably my involvement with Hannah Kerr and Mark means as much to me as anything, getting to do that.
I know. I remember first time I interviewed Mark when y'all were starting the label way back, and he told me that was his intent, was to continue to be a youth pastor. And I thought, oh, that'll probably fall by the wayside, because everybody wants to give up their day job when they get a record deal. Not Mark. I mean, especially, no. I talked to him recently because they were doing that drive-in theater tour, and he was talking about how he's continued to engage his kids during the pandemic. And I mean, he's well, you know him so well. Mark's a phenomenal artist, but a phenomenal guy. I mean, just what he and his wife.
Well, he's the real deal. He's the reason that makes me just get up every day and work hard for him and the band. But he is just as dedicated. I mean, I remember this is a specific defining moment of being a youth pastor. We are in the studio. We have a deadline. It's on the second or third album. And it's crunch time. And you have to understand that Mark labors over the lyrics. I mean, he labors more than anybody I've ever seen, because he just wants them to be biblically correct and impactful and inspirational. So he labors over these lyrics. So we're always running behind, always. And we have a deadline. We're in crunch time. We're at my studio in Nashville. And he all of a sudden goes, oh my gosh, I have to take the youth group to the mall. And he walks out of the studio. Now the youth group is in McDonough, Georgia. And he gets in his car and he's heading out and just leaving. And I'm freaking out. And I call him. I said, can someone else take the kids to the mall? He said, no, I have to. I'm their youth pastor. And I had to pack up all the gear, the microphones and everything, and head to his house. I said, Mark, after you get the youth group back from the mall, I will be waiting at your house with microphones set up to finish this album. And that's what I did.
I love that. I love that. That's Mark. This is typical Mark.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That is cool. And Hannah Kerr, tell me a little bit about what's coming up with Hannah.
Well, Hannah is just doing incredible. We are right now finishing a Christmas single with Cochran and Company. And it's at Hannah and Cochran and Company. And I actually just flew back into Nashville Saturday to cut the track. Doug Johnson and I are doing it, producing it together. And I'm coming back next Monday and Tuesday to finish up because it's a quick turnaround because the Christmas season is upon us already.
Do you see any parallels in the Christian and country community, or is it entirely two different things working in both genres?
Well, I think the thing that is the same is you have to have impactful songs. And you have to have those songs that are uplifting, same in country music as well as Christian music. You have to have those songs that make you pull the car over and like praise you in this storm, and hopefully the walk, the Sawyer Brown's walk. So I think that's the common ground is those great inspirational, impactful songs. And I think that's, to me, that still wins out. I tell everybody talks to me about producing Casting Crowns. And I said, well, the main thing, I just make sure you can hear Mark Hall. And I really believe that at the end of the day, the artist or singer has to be believable. And if you can, that's the only thing we can't emulate. Now we can fake guitars, we can fake pianos, drums, we can fake all of that, but just what God gave us, the sound that comes out of our mouth when we sing or when we talk is totally unique to us. And that's the thing to me, that and the song still wins out, the voice.
Yeah. It's a great point. It's a great point. I was going to ask you too about, nowadays The Voice and, American Idol, and there's all these huge talent competitions. They've given us artists like Carrie Underwood and Kelly Clarkson, so many different people. But, you guys going way back in the day, y'all were like one of the first major acts to come from a talent competition. So talk a little bit about, your entrance to the business on Star Search, and what do you think of the competitions that are out there now that are launching new artists?
Well, we were in Nashville. I had moved to Nashville, in 1980. So I had been in Nashville. I was signed as a songwriter to Charlie Pride. Charlie Pride signed me as a songwriter, and just trying to get known. And it was a real struggle, because if you look at the time that we came along, we were really progressive. Sawyer Brown was, we really had done showcases. People thought we were too wild, that we dressed too crazy, and that we were too rock and roll for country. And so our outlet was we get on this TV show and we're introduced to the American public through television. And that was our avenue. That was our path. And it was different because at that time, there was nothing else to compare it to. even the first, I will say the first 4 or 5 years, we kept having to prove ourselves to radio that we were worthy. And because we would have a hit, we would have 2 that weren't hits, we'd have another hit, but we just kept, we just stayed the course. And the one thing I am glad of today is I think there's more opportunities for kids and new artists to get their music out there through these shows. And I tell my kids that we were the original American Idols. And
you were?
and so I'm glad. I produced Bucky Covington, his 2 albums. I produced those, and was able to share with him the TV show. If you're going to have a long career, the TV show is just the beginning. You can't look at that as, well, I've made it. You have to look at that TV show as, this is just, this is just the tip of the iceberg of your career. And you have to go to work. And I think these kids, they need to know that once they get on the show, it's the beginning.
Was that the Jets again?
That was an F-14.
That's cool. That is cool.
Here comes another one. Woo! Is that as loud in there as it is out here?
You sound like you're pretty close to the flight line.
Oh, I'm right next to the runway, but.
Oh wow.
I'm sitting in a Lowe's parking lot.
Appreciate you doing this. We won't keep you much longer, but I had a couple other things. That was a great point you made about getting, winning the TV show is just kind of that's just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, there's so much more that an act has to do to have an established career like you guys have had,
Yeah, you have to have those songs, and you have to just keep, it's a grind. You have to just keep pumping those songs out. And with us in our career, not only was it that it was just about the songs, it was about, the evolution of our band. Because, we've had a 38-year career, and you have to keep moving, because the target keeps moving. So you have to keep evolving. I probably could list 4 times that, we had to recreate the band, recreate the sound, and just go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, one of the things I've always loved about you guys as a band is that the repertoire is so diverse. You have the fun, sing along stuff like some girls do, and then deeply poignant stuff like all these years, So, I mean, to you, what makes a Sawyer Brown song? Because your catalog's so diverse and so rich,
Well, I think we found out, early on that we did have this one unique thing. That was our high energy, my movement and dancing on stage. But we knew that we couldn't just be one-dimensional. And when I wrote The Walk, literally my brother calls me in, and TK Kimbrell, who managed us at the time, and my brother as well, and they said, we want to release The Walk. And it gave everybody a different view of us. And because I had written it, maybe more depth to the band. So I think that really showed us that we could branch out, that we could look for different avenues, different sounds, and but yet I think thematically, as far as what we were singing about, because I don't drink. I've never drank. I've never tasted beer in my life. So I wasn't going to do a drinking song. I don't cheat, so I wasn't going to do a cheating song. So you start to eliminate a lot of the subject matters in country music. but what we were was we were the blue collar working man's band. Sometimes I've labeled us as the Walmart of American bands, because we were just the people's band. And I will tell you, when the videos were hot, I think we were Video Group of the Year for 7 or 8 years in a row. And that was a big honor for us, because that was strictly voted on by the fans. And so we knew that what we were doing was connecting with the common fan, the common man out there.
Yep, that's true. You always have. You mentioned a couple minutes ago about having moved to Nashville in 1980. So this is your 40th anniversary, the 40th year in Nashville. What keeps you so passionate about doing what you do?
When we go out and we play, and I'm still humbled that so many people show up to hear us sing. When I'll sit there on the bus, and sometimes I can see the parking lot or see them coming in if we're doing an outdoor show, and I can see them lining up in the afternoon, like when we're sound checking, I can see them already lining up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I'm just so thankful. And I know that God was able to give something in us that touched all these people. And when they can come and spend 2 hours with us and kind of get away from everything, I get to do that too with them. And that is just an unbelievable driving force.
That is great. And I was going to ask you about the cruise. What are you looking forward to most about the cruise?
Well, I'm a Florida boy, so anytime I can get in the heat and in the sun and on the water, I'm at home. So I've done several cruises. I love them. I love being on the water. I love being around, the warmth, the heat, the ocean breeze, all of that. And of course, we get to be one-on-one with the fans, face to face. We get to talk to them. They get to, and here's the thing they have to understand is they're as interesting to us as we are to them. And that's a really cool thing on a cruise. You can meet and talk, and it's not just standing in a line.
You mentioned doing other cruises before. Like, have you ever had to be on stage when the boat is really rocking? Tell me a little bit about some of your interesting cruise experiences.
On the cruise?
Yeah, on any cruise before.
You really can't feel the boat rocking. I mean, our stage moves just more regularly when I'm jumping around than on the boat.
That's cool. And you mentioned getting to, hang out and visit with the fans. You're going to love that about the country music cruise, Mark, because these are the nicest people in the world. I mean, I know all Sawyer Brown fans are great folks, but it's just a lot of fun. And Tim Atwood does his thing in the piano bar at night. And one of my favorite memories last year was seeing Tracy Lawrence down there singing Mark Chestnut songs, till the wee hours. It's just, it's a lot of fun. It's you remember Fanfare back when it was at the fairgrounds,
Sure.
I mean, just that closeness to, between the artists and the fans and that camaraderie. The country music cruise recreates that on the high seas. I mean, it is just such a fun time. So I'm really excited about seeing you guys perform. It's been a while, I haven't seen it in way too long.
Yeah.
And the other guys, before we sign off, I want to just talk to you about, not too many people maintain, pretty much the same lineup. I know there's been a little bit of change, but, you and Hobie and Jim, what makes the dynamic work so well and has for all, 38 years?
Well, I think number one, we're really continue to be good friends. And I think everybody's content with their position in the band, and it's been that way since the beginning. You know, there's been challenges that we've challenged each other musically, but we haven't competed against each other. We haven't felt that. We felt like a team. You know, like we talked about basketball. You know, I grew up playing team sports and was passionate about that. And that's what I love about a band. We're a team. And when we go out to perform, you know, we go out as a team. You know, I know that Hobie's got my back, and Jim does, Joe does, Shane does, and I have theirs, you know, and they're, you know, when you got 5 guys, there's, you know, sometimes guys are sick as a dog, and you know, you don't want anybody to know that. So you got his back, you know. Yeah. And that's, I think that's been maybe the secret, is just that we've been good friends, and we've been content with who we are and our position within the band.
It's a great response. Well, Mark, before we wrap up, is there anything going on with Sawyer Brown or Casting Crown? Anything that I didn't ask you that you'd like for our viewers to know? Anything else you want to say? Anything else about the cruise? No,
we're looking forward to the cruise, and can't wait to be one-on-one with the fans, and just looking forward to 2021 in general. I mean, we've already we moved most of our cities. We'll do over 100 city tour in 2021, and can't wait to get back out to see everybody and play for the fans.
Awesome. I tell you, Mark, whether we've been talking about Sawyer Brown or Casting Crowns or Hannah Kerr, we've had a lot of fun interviews and a lot of great conversations over 30-something years. So it's always a pleasure to talk to you. I appreciate you taking time, especially when you could be holding that new grandbaby. So.
Well, I'm probably going to head that way in a little bit, but I do have to tell you, anytime you call, I am going to do whatever you need. You have been so gracious and kind to me and us over the years. And I said, Deborah gets anything she wants, anytime she wants.
Oh, Mark, that means the world to me. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Oh, well, you take care and stay safe. And thanks again. Always a pleasure talking to you.
God bless y'all.
God bless you. Bye-bye. Bye.